pushing on, but then you went too far. When your ship has sailed and all your dreams are lost, everything is wrong, you feel like it's your fault. Just remember, I will be there for you, baby. Remember, there's nothing out there to get you, don't forget it. When life throws lemons, just call me. Just call me. Just call me. Just call me. You're stronger now than you ever been. You gotta leave now, it's time to catch the wind. You will climb up high and look through the clouds. And when you're feeling low, I know you'll bounce back. Oh, and just remember, I will be there for you, baby. Remember, there's nothing out there to get you, don't forget it. When life throws lemons, just call me. Just call me. Just call me. Just call me.
Race fans, good evening and welcome to the Moonshiners Racing League right here in the playoffs as we go Texas style. Everything is bigger and better in Texas. The nighttime is the right time for these boys to throw it down in prime time, and that's exactly, I can guarantee it, it's going to be another classic Moonshiners race put on by all these competitors tonight. I'm your host tonight, Mr. Excitement. Thanks for joining us here live on SRM as we already are underway in qualifying this evening. You see Jamison Middlemiss there coming back down pit road as he finishes up his hot lap on that racetrack right now. Let's take a look at the 64 of Darren Mills, currently in that 7th place position right now. Last time by, put down at 29.30. That's going to be good for 7th place right now. Next up, the man who's been hot as of recent. That's the 83 of Tim Wortman Jr. You can see him there. He's really rocking the bottom, eating on the inside of the racetrack, right where you want to be as he finishes up his qualifying lap. That's going to put him provisionally in that P2 position right now. We still have more qualifiers waiting to take the green flag in this qualifying round before we go ahead and get the main show up underway. Next up on the racetrack, looks like we're going to have Chris Spear. Barry Sanders out on the racetrack, getting that 88 machine up to speed. The HMFIC of the league, he's been on a hot roll as well. And you know he's looking to have a strong run here. No wins on the season yet for the Sandman, but he has been close multiple times. Could Texas be the race he breaks through and gets that first dub of the year? We're going to have to wait and find out. As he's finishing coming through sectors 1 and 2 here, coming around through the 3-4 complex. See where Barry Sanders is going to be here at the line as he just passed the start-finish line. Barry Sanders on the first lap, coming in at a 20th place position right now at a 29.57. I know he's got some more good in that 88 under the hood. He's driving a really good line here. Arcs it off of 4. See if he can improve it all. Oh, he had a big improvement there. It comes up now to that 14th place position at a 29.29 for Barry Sanders. Not too shabby as he's currently inside the top 15. Still waiting on other drivers to take the green flag in qualifying. You know, talking about the 27 of Derek Jacobs, Bobby Justice, Chris Davis currently out on the track. John Binder in the 33, always loves to start near the back, work his way up front. Brandon Bikey and Mr. Excitement, Kenny Capola's counterpart, Shane Davis. It's Chris Davis now out on the racetrack. Currently on the pole, Kyle Holden in the 59 ride. This man knows how to get it done in qualifying. He's like, you know, Joe Nemechek, front row Joe from back in the day. Knocks Kenny Capola off. Mr. Excitement himself off the provisional pole. Now Kenny's down into that P2 position, but still a great run for Capola at a 29.08. Again, want to thank everyone for joining us here live right here on SRM as we're now about 7 minutes through qualifying here this evening. Bobby Justice in the 22, currently being shown in that 21st place position right now. Could be saving the best for last here now as Shane Davis decides to take his vehicle out on the racetrack late in the session, and he's going to go to the top of the board with a 29.05. That is a hot lap for Shane P. Davis. That may get the pole here as time is winding out as we're now under 2 minutes left in qualifying. Brandon Bikey now out on the racetrack. Hulkamania at its finest inside that race car. Toyota Camry thinks it's a Viper. It looks like a Viper, and it drives fast and furious out there, so why not? Beautiful paint scheme on that car all season long. Glad he's stuck with it. As Brandon Bikey bumps Kyle Holden now down to that third place position. As Bikey starting P2, he's going to be on the front row. What do you say we look at the race information here tonight? Texas Motor Speedway. Hey, everything's bigger, better, faster. What do you say we do a little no-limit edition tonight? I know these drivers are ready for it. 1.5 miles, the distance around this quad oval facility. weather tonight, absolutely picturesque, beautiful. 42% water drain in the air. These cars are going to be making all the horsepower. 8 miles an hour with that breeze. You may have to be leery of that depending on where you catch that on the racetrack. Ambient air temperature at a crisp 69 degrees Fahrenheit. They're going to be making all kinds of grip out there as well. So this is about as perfect ideal conditions as you could ask for at the Texas Motor Speedway. Just about 10 seconds or so left on the clock here for qualifying, and then we'll get ready to grid this field here tonight. Let's take a look at our starting grid this evening. You see the cars getting ready to get set, ready to rock and roll here tonight on pit lane. There we go. Now we got the qualifying results, right? On the pole, of course, Shane P. Davis tonight with a hot lap of a 29.051 from Beast Mode Performance. The Pit Viper, Brandon Bikey, starts off second with a great run. Kyle Holden third. Kenny, Mr. Excitement Capola in fourth. Tim Wortman Jr. is going to roll off fifth. Caden Ofry in that sixth place position. Jeff Taylor is going to rock out with this number 7 to start it out in the 29 ride. Stephen Gibson is going to roll off ninth. 10th belongs to Justin Belmonte. 11th, Wayne Bowen. 12th, Aaron Matthews. He's been hot as of late. Remember his big win back at Talladega. Still riding off the coattails of that, as he should be. That was absolutely fantastic race. If you guys missed it, go back through the SRM catalog. Find that race. Take a look at it. The ending was absolutely off the chain. Paul Gillimore is going to roll off 13th. Ed Broyles Jr. inside the top 15 and 14th. 15th belongs to Chad Sullivan. Outside of him in that 16th place position, Warren Young, the HMFIC himself in the 88 ride. Barry Sanders going to be rolling off 17th. Paul Whitley in 18th. 19th, Darren Mills. 20th, Chris Spear. Randy Mullins in 21st. 22nd, Darren Mills. No one thrills like Mr. Mills. 23rd, Bobby Justice. Jameson Middlemiss in 24th. 25th belongs to Nicholas Atwood. And Ryan Huff rounds out that 26th position. Derek Jacobs, 27th. 28th, John Binder starting shotgun on the field. But I assure you, he will not be there long this evening. Well, ladies and gentlemen, as Tony Trapasso would say, there's only one thing left to do, and it's time to wipe the visor and adjust the 5-point harness. Make sure Grandma's strapped in, because it's time to get it down in Texas, no limit style. Race fans, it's show time. Green flag in the air. Shane Davis going to murder the loud pedal as we're green flag racing here from Texas Motor Speedway. As you can see, it's already a diamond formation at the point, as Shane P. Davis continues to hold off a hot charge there from the 59 of Kyle Holden, as they are literally leaning on each other behind him. Brandon Bikey wasted no time getting aggressive, putting the press on the 59 of Kyle Holden. He's going to take the spot. Taking a look there at Barry Sanders. Tim Wortman Jr. as he's under duress right now from Caden Ofry in the 44 ride. This just inside the top 5 as Tim Wortman Jr. occupies that 5th place position. How about Jeff Taylor rocking the 23 tonight, digging the paint scheme on that Chevrolet ZL1 Camaro. As he currently inside the top 10 in that 7th place position. Already up 2 spots on the move this evening. Wayne Bowen cracked the top 10. He has that 78th currently in 9th. Fast man so far started from the pole and just set the fastest lap of the race. That's the 79 ride of Shane P. Davis with a 29.78. I can assure you those laps will get faster as we go through the course of this race here tonight. And remember, ladies and gentlemen, this is playoff racing here this evening, so these stakes are even higher than what we've had in the regular season. So much on the line for these drivers. You know, if you're in the playoffs right now, you know, some of these drivers like, you know, Shane P. Davis, Kenny Capola at the top of the points board right now. You know, not so much, you know, stress inside the cockpit of that race car, but some of the other drivers around that cut line are really hoping to stay out of harm's way this evening and come home with a solid finish or perhaps a W. As you can see, we're starting to get strung out here up towards the front just a little bit. But I'll tell you what, Kyle Holden not letting Shane P. Davis get away from him, is he's just about a car length and a half or so off the back of Shane Davis. Taking a look here now at Aaron Matthews. He is up 2 spots, cracked the top 10, owns that final spot for points here in stage 1. You know he's going to want to try to improve his position there, but wants to maintain and hold at least that position. His points ever so critical. Got a good battle just behind him. As you can see, the 43 of or the 21 of Bad Chad Sullivan. He is getting after it right now with Stephen Gibson Jr. and company. And you know what? What do you say we let's go on board with Bad Chad Sullivan right now? You can see him putting the business all over the back of that 6 of Justin Belmonte. You can see just how tight and packed this field is right now, single file, but these guys are just, you could throw a blanket over any one of these cars throughout the course of this field right now. That's how close and intense the action is out there at almost 200 miles an hour at times. Chad Sullivan up 3 spots from where he started as well. You know, let's go back a little bit further through the field. There he is, the Sandman, the silent assassin himself, Barry Sanders in the 88. All is even with the board right now as he's sitting right where he started in that 17th position. He's definitely probably thinking about being smart this race. You know, probably going to, you know, play a little strategery here. He's been involved, you know, he's been caught in other calamity, you know, other people's dumpster fires on the racetrack, if you will, you know, over the past, you know, month or so at times. So he's probably going to try and be really methodical here, working his way through the field. It's also one of his strengths. No one does it, especially as the laps wind down like the driver of the 88 Chevrolet, Barry Sanders Jr. A little further on back in that 20th place position right now, Darren Mullins in the 64. He's got a big time, one of our, he's sporting the Ram colors there, big sponsor of this series, so big shout out to them. Everything they do for the Moonshiners Cup Racing League right here, live in prime time. Want to thank them for their support for the series. Cannot thank all the sponsors enough, all the men and women at Ram that make everything possible for them to come on, jump on board and be such a great help and great partner of this league. Curious to see where John Binder is as he started shotgun on the field. You know, this guy loves and he thrives off starting in another zip code or off in the woods somewhere. And you can always bank on that Sundrop 33 to just grind it out and charge through the field. But, you know, to my surprise right now, he has only gained 1 spot out up there on the racetrack. Again, only working, you know, lap 12 right now. Got plenty of time But usually, just as I say that, here we go, starting to go to work on the 2 of Darren Mills. Is John Binder trying to work that top groove in here early, is often this track widens out over the course of the run this evening. Going back up to the point, it is all Shane Davis, but Kyle Holden has found something here. He's starting to wear on the back of that Miami Vice paint scheme, as Tony would say, ride is Shane Davis. I mean, Kyle Holden is there. Oh, he's going for the pass just as I change up the camera angle. Going for the pass. Let's take it back to TV1. And Kyle Holden's going to grab the lead. So passes the torch now to Kyle Holden as he's out leading the first laps. Just as we went on board, decided to pull the trigger. Kyle Holden now in front. Shane P. Davis back one spot into that second place position. We haven't talked about him yet, but the man usually with the hot plan at this racetrack, you can always count on him to throw some haymakers out there as well. That's the 77 of Kenny Capola, your current points leader. He's had a tumultuous amount of bad luck. It's like he's had a black voodoo cloud just, fixated over that race car at times about the past month or so. You know he's looking to rebound here tonight as he's really starting to work and turn up the pressure cooker on the back of the 1 of Brandon Bikey. Let's go to the eye in the sky here, watching this battle. This is right inside the top 5 as Brandon Bikey currently owns that 3rd place position. Capola occupying 4th, and the 83 of Tim Wortman Jr. residing in 5th. You can see Shane P. Davis starting to come back into the picture. Perhaps ran a little too hard too soon in the early going, and those good years starting to fade. But don't let that bother you, even if you see, the performance flicker from time to time in the 79. Shane knows how to get it back to the front when it counts, and that's, obviously when the checkered flag falls. Again, want to thank everyone for joining us right here live on SRM. You're thinking about joining the family? It's simple. All you have to do is smash the like button, ring the bell, come home to 7 days of high-flying, high-octane eSIM racing action on your Sim Sports racing leader right here on SRM, the official home of the Moonshiners Racing Series. Everyone pretty content right now being strung out. Just a little bit of separation. It's early on in this race. Nobody really wants to put themselves in a bad position. As we see there now, looks like Tim Wortman Jr. He's getting some pressure now from the 23 there of Jeff Taylor. This is for that 5th place position, as now they are side by side going after each other. Wortman's on the top side of the fishbowl there. Almost gets a piece of the wall there. Is Jeff Taylor now really dialing up the pressure on the bottom of the racetrack, eating hard on the inside. It's still a Noah's Ark situation between the two of them, 2 by 2. As Taylor continues to own the bottom, he is eating hard on the inside right now. But Tim Wortman Jr. is really able to utilize that momentum on the high side. They want to be careful because all this 2 by 2 action is going to allow drivers just in back of them like Chris Davis, Wayne Bowen, Bad Chad Sullivan to close in on him, and that's exactly what they're doing right now as they now get it sorted, and Tim Wortman Jr. takes back that position, currently owns that 5th place spot. See what happened to Jamison Middlemiss. Did throw out a caution, but he decided to pull out the snapper riding lawnmower. Goes Baja mode. You can see him jumping through the tri-oval area. Big time moment for Jamison Middlemiss, able to keep that car pointed straight. So I believe he's the first one to get into some nitty-gritty action going on here tonight as we go back to the live, and it is a cluster of a situation. Pitch at 10 over top of these boys is Wortman is heavy in the thick of the trenches right now. This time the challenger, you guessed it, Bad Chad Sullivan in the 21. Camaro rocks the bottom. Wortman sending it on the high side. As these laps continue now to wind down in stage one. You can see Wortman gets a great run there, able to clear the 78 there of Wayne Bowen. And just behind him, you got Aaron Matthews, who continues to run in that 10th place position. But he is under siege right now from the 6th of Justin Belmonte. Paul Gillimore in 12th right now. He's virtually right where he started, one position to the good. This just outside the door. Oh, as Gillimore got a little loose there. Really digging the paint scheme on that race car, as I often am. As you go back to side-by-side action, Wortman Jr. falling back through the field just a little bit. As perhaps maybe over-abused that right rear just a little bit. Is now Steven Gibson. Tries to overtake Wortman for that 12th place position. Unfortunately, Wortman seems to be off the pace quite a bit right now in that 83 Ford Mustang. All out back out front, Kyle Holden continues to hold that 2nd place position, but really not able to drive away from Shane P. Davis, as he's only out to about 0.3 of a second advantage over Shane in that 2nd place position. Really no change at the front. Brandon Bikey in the 1 owns that 3rd and final podium position, and Kenny Capola stalks his prey inside the top 3 from that 4th place position, as the 77 currently runs inside the top 5. As you can see now, it looks like the first four cars here in line, starting with your leader, Kyle Holden, Shane Davis, Brandon Bikey, and Kenny Capola. They have almost pulled away and formed the first pack of cars, or grouping, if you will, almost like you would see at Talladega or Daytona. And then just starting to come into the picture here, you got the 77 of Kenny Capola starting to perhaps fade back just a little bit. Then you got to come back to this next group of cars right here, starting off with Jeff Taylor being the engine in this piece. Right here you got the Hornets Nuts of Bruin, and no surprise who's in it. It's Wayne Bowen once again in the 78, and he's taking on the challenger, Chris Davis. These competitors do such a great job of having great situational awareness out there on the racetrack. Showing you, hey, that you can put up you can have a great battle out there on the racetrack, have that high octane racing energy, but not put someone in the wall or have to just basically howitzer through them to get, to crank up the action out there here in Texas tonight. It's now the 21 of Chad Sullivan comes to put his nose in onto the piece of the action as well. Side by side, door to door here. I mean, this is just 5th place on back here. The 23 of Jeff Taylor owns 5th. So this is 6th, 7th, 8th, and 9th. And is Justin Belmonte now getting into this one as well, as he's throwing his hat in the ring, as he's challenging Aaron Matthews for that 10th place position. So it is a Waffle House situation here, smothered and covered is it is all action, all out assault on each other just inside the top 10. Green flag for the entirety of this race from the initial drop of the green flag. And when you're out there turning laps, in the 30-second range, they're going to go by quick, fast, and in a hurry. Already 33 laps in to this 200-lap event. Oh, big time wiggle there out of the 21, as that was probably a Code Brown moment, as he might decide to ship himself a new race suit. He might want to have that dry clean before he sends it back home, as that was definitely a Code Brown moment. That was a big time wiggle out of the driver of that 21. Justin Belmonte continues to surge later in the course of this stage here, as now he has clawed his way up to that 8th place position, trending on the high side of the racetrack. Aaron Matthews right there as well, still holding on to that 10th place position, but Paul Gallimore may have other plans, as it's almost 3 wide. See these drivers probably getting some communication from their crew chiefs telling everyone, hey guys, calm down. I know the action is electric when they're side by side and really mixing it up for position, but they still have a long way to go here tonight. As you see them get back single filed, nose to tail, it's probably a good idea to turn down the amperage just a little bit. Ooh, as Gallimore got dangerously close to that safer barrier. Now 37 laps in, Justin Belmonte, ooh, gets skinny there, boys. The 23, Jeff Taylor, had an uh-oh moment. Belmonte had to take quick, evasive action as he turned it down to the inside, and he's going to go ahead and complete that pass now as Jeff Taylor gets up out of the groove, and here comes Aaron Matthews as well. Hopefully he didn't sustain too much damage on that race car, as Aaron Matthews is now going to contest Taylor for the spot. And it looks like he's going to get it as they're coming out of the turns 3 and 4 complex, coming back towards the start-finish line. Big move out of Chad Sullivan there, as he had a heck of a run with utilizing that draft, and he's going to turn and burn on the bottom. Back up at the point, battle for the lead starting to heat up once again between Kyle Holden and Brandon Bikey, as he's now been able to get his way around Shane P. Davis, and he has really set that car to blast, and he's really rocketed to the front now, running some of the fastest lap times right now. Brandon Bikey, last time by, second fastest car on the racetrack with a 30.69 to Kyle Holden's 30.75. You can see why Bikey able to go ahead and overtake Shane Davis, and now, reel in the 59 of Kyle Holden as Hulkamania is getting ready to strike here. Believe me, these stage wins, they are important. There's additional points on the line if you win the stage and also place inside the top 10. So as this stage continues to wind down, you'll see this intensity here at the front continue to pick up, as Brandon Bikey has a bead painted all over the 59. Take a look here at the battle for first here. You can see right there in the battle box, Kyle Holden currently up 2 spots. He's in the lead, but Brandon Bikey continues to charge in on him. You can see utilizing the time delta where Bikey has been faster and how he's been able to run down the 59, and that's just been pure speed and performance, doing a great job taking care of those Dr. Feelgoods on that race car. Clearly right now has the better rubber of the two, but that dirty air is also a problem. And we say it time and time again, catching somebody is one thing, passing them is another, and Kyle Holden doing a great job of utilizing the air to his advantage right now and really making that front of that the one car start to plow like a dump truck when he closes on the back of him. What do you say we go through the field now as we're 45 laps in, and let's go on board with these drivers as well. What do you say, ladies and gentlemen? Let's do this. At the front of the field, you know who it is. We were just talking about him, Kyle Holden in that first place position. Second place right now, Brandon Bikey. In third, inside the top 3, Shane B. Davis. Running fourth, Wayne Bowen. And inside the top 5, Mr. Excitement, Kenny Capola. 6th belongs to Justin Belmonte. 7th, and just as we do that, caution out on the racetrack. Sometimes it never fails. That is the end of the first stage here in Texas. Kyle Holden gonna get the dub. What a great battle up front as him and Brandon Bikey were in their dogfight. Picking up where we left off, Justin Belmonte, Aaron Matthews, Chris Davis, Chad Sullivan, and Steven Gibson Jr. all going to get stage points here as that rounds out the top 10. All right, ladies and gentlemen, stage 1 is done. We're going to go ahead, step aside for a moment here, go pay some bills on SRM, but don't worry, you're not going to miss anything. We'll be right back with you momentarily. Race fans, welcome back live here to Texas Motor Speedway as Moonshine Thrills once again in prime time. I'm Mr. Excitement. Want to thank everyone for joining me here live right here on YouTube each and every Wednesday night as we're in the middle of a 1.5 mile oval slugfest in which Brandon Bikey was able to best Kyle Holden. Kyle Holden was able to hold off Brandon Bikey there. But as you can see, those lights are out on the pace car, which means we're getting ready to go. Green flag racing here one more time. That pace car is going to pull off. Kyle Holden's going to have the button here. As that field's re-racked, restacked, ready to rock and roll. One more time here. Green flag back in the air. Holden's going to stand on it. As all these race cars start to sing the song of 9,000 RPMs in unison as they go through the turns 1 and 2 complex. Holden with a great jump on the field. With Shane P. Davis able to get around Bikey on the restart. Let's go further to the back here as we saw some cars fanning out. Picking right up where it left off. As far as the intensity goes. Check out this Hornets nest of cars right now. Darren Mullins, he has his hands full right now. He's got Jeff Taylor, Barry Sanders there as well, creeping into the picture. Wortman Jr. on the high side of the racetrack looking to regain some positions. He was having a great run earlier, and that performance on the race car just seemed to fall off on the later side of the run. We'll see if he's able to make some adjustments to that race car on pit road and start picking off some spots. As you can see, he's feeling really racy right now, working the high side of the racetrack. Ooh, is Barry Sanders flirting with 3 wide? Don't do that, man. Well, sometimes third time's the charm, and thank goodness for that. I thought we had lost the stream there for a moment as we're 3 wide right now, just in front of Barry Sanders. That's Paul Gillimore getting in the business. The 43 is Steven Gibson Jr. He is the meat in the sandwich, or was, as he now frantically gets that car down to the bottom of the racetrack. Barry Sanders exactly where he doesn't want to be, just outside the mouth of the beast. It is getting it on right now, right here, once again, just outside the top 10. Oh, look at Swervy McSwerverson here. That's the 21. Oh, the 78 is going to go up and do almost a 1-2 whack-a-mole, and there it goes. As someone took out the business there and had to take the trash with it. Let's go back to the SRM instant replay. Caution now out on the racetrack here. This all started a couple laps ago. You can see going 3 wide here. That never works at Texas Motor Speedway. You got the 21 down there on the inside of the racetrack. He's going to make contact, and oh, Tim Wortman just gets howitzered. Luckily, more cars were not involved in that, but still not what Wortman and Chad Sullivan wanted there. as this is going to slow the pace down here. First caution of the day for incident. Lap 58 pace car back out in front. We're going to have to re-rack, restack the field here one more time. You can see Randy Mullins here coming down pit road. See if we had any more takers on pit road for that matter. Oh yeah, pit road's pretty hot right now. Some of the drivers near the back of this piece coming on down as well. Is this all happening just after the end of stage one here? So we're watching Chris Spear as he comes out of the pits, completes his pit stop. Jamison Middlemiss, Chad Sullivan, John Binder, Derek Jacobs as well, all on pit road for service on their race cars. We just gotten things back up to speed, and we had to slow it back down for first caution of the incident tonight. While we have a moment, let's take again at the race information here tonight. Check on the weather, see how that's trending. Not much change in the temperature department. Ambient air temperature still hovering in that 68 degree range, 1 degree down from where we started. 43% relative humidity. These cars still making all the horsepower. Partly cloudy skies. You know, that track temperature at a crisp, cool 72 degrees. And that's why, you know, these drivers are able just to put up these absolutely blistering lap times, you know, that we've seen so far through 60 laps of competition. Talking about exciting, there's Kenny Capola, Mr. Excitement himself there. Currently now in that third place position. Really haven't seen him hit the afterburner yet, but I can promise you, that man, when it is time, he will unload the turbines on that race car, light the wick, and turn it up as he comes up showing his teammate right now, Kenny Capola, some love as we go on board with Kenny Capola. Hey, you got to have fun out there on the racetrack, especially under caution. You got to keep it real out there. So why not? You got your teammate right in front of you. Go show him some love, pump him up a little bit, especially after that battle he had during the first stint of this 200 laps. Lights go out now on the pace car. That means this time by, we're going back green flag racing. Let's take a look here at Nicholas Atwood real quick in the 24 car. He is up 12 spots, one of the biggest movers of the race. The biggest mover, Darren Mullins in the 64, up 13 positions from where he started. Currently owns the biggest mover of the race award. Cars now enter the turns 3 and 4 complex. Look for that pace car to make that turn down pit road. As we get set to kick it into overdrive here once again. As As Kyle Holden approaches that Geico restart zone, he's going to have it loaded, and he's going to let it fly once again, and another great restart out of the 59 ride. Shane P. Davis squeezes inside the sandwich there, just in front of Shane Davis, or I'm sorry, just in front of Kenny Capola. Look at Aaron Matthews up there in fourth, using a little pit strategery there. Let's see how this plays out for the 5 ride. As I believe he's only on 2 tires right now. Oh, big moment there. Chris Davis got all kinds of up. That car was all kinds of loose, as he caught it literally before he acted like a battering ram into that safer barrier. Oh, someone just caught a piece of the fence. That had been the 78, I believe, of Wayne Bowen, as he's under duress right now, as these guys are literally throwing haymakers at each other on the restart once again. Justin Belmonte's there, Stephen Gibson Jr., Wayne Bowen, once again, just inside or outside the top 10 is where all the hardcore action has been, you know, through the majority of this race. We go up to the eye in the sky, give you guys just a really clean look at, you know, all this intense racing. Barry Sanders right in the thick of it, as well, as he's currently now working himself up to that 10th place position. The 88 on the move. Stephen Gibson eating good in the neighborhood right now, as he's committed to trying to work that top groove in. Chris Davis has been committed to run to the top, it seems like, from the drop of the green flag, as he's trying to get it rubbered up there. If you remember going back to pre-race, we talked about it, you know, as this race evolves and progresses, more of this Goodyear rubber gets laid into the racing surface. You'll see this track widen out, you know, kind of like what you've seen in the Cup race on Sunday. In fact, Chris Davis really getting some great runs up there on the high side right now. Just got to be careful you don't overcook that right rear tire on these next-gen race cars. They're very finicky. They're uber sensitive. You know, they're not like the car of the old or the past. You know, you start giving it a little too much, you know, what it doesn't like. You start abusing it a little bit, and she will fall off a cliff on you. That's for certain. Go back up to the front. It's Holden holding him down, as he's about a half-second advantage right now over Shane P. Davis. Kenny Capola now owns that third and final podium position, as he has been very patient throughout the course of this race. You know, you want to talk about just how important clean air is in being up front track position in these next-gen cars. Look at Aaron Matthews. I mean, he was fighting for his life back there inside the top 10. I mean, you could see his elbows almost, you know, poking through the window net. He was eating at the wheel so hard. Gets a great pit stop, uses a little strategy, and I mean, he is holding on to that 4th place position. Cars, you know, running a couple tenths faster too. You know, he's got Kenny Capola right now on radar lock. Great car to be hooked up with out there on the racetrack, and he is just vibing right now. That's, you know, just goes to show you how important, you know, track position is here, and air, you know, especially with the way that the aerodynamics work on this next gen. Now working 70 laps of competition, getting right back here to the eye of the storm once again. Barry Sanders Jr., you know, he's a part of it, as they're 2x2 right in front of him there. That looks to be Stephen Gibson and Justin Belmonte going at it once again. As Belmonte is working the bottom side of the racetrack, Stephen Gibson in the 43 overtook him on the top, punched his ticket, moved him up to that 6th place position. And just as they're doing a little shaking and baking, just in front of them, Paul Gillimore just behind Barry Sanders. He's trying to spice things up as well, as he's up 3 spots from where he started, now in that 10th place position. Now through 73 laps of competition, you'll see most of this field has that conveyor belt formation as they're ripping the ring right around the bottom of this racetrack. That's going to be the fastest way around this place. Also the shortest ways, except for a few of these guys that are really committed to running the high side of the racetrack, and I'm a big fan of that myself personally, like you're seeing Randy Mullins do right now in the 54 ride. As he comes through the trioval area, he's obviously going to bring it down, to the bottom of the racing surface. But at times he is, you've seen him go up the racetrack into that second groove. Is Belmonte getting a little spicy? Going up against Barry Sanders there for that 8th, 9th place position. Belmonte, usually you can count on him if that high side is an option. He has no problem going up there and making friends with the wall. Oh, is now the 64. I believe that's the 64. Interesting. We'll take a note of that, and we'll come back to that later on as Barry Sanders continues to be in all-out trench warfare mode with the 6 of Justin Belmonte. And whatever you do, you don't want to see this go 3 wide here, but this micro battle between the 88 and the 6 has allowed Randy Mullins to close in right on the back of this battle. I'm sorry, the 54, Randy Mullins, close right in on the back of this battle, and Belmonte and Sanders get it straightened out, get back single file, and that's the best thing you can do, because when you try to execute a pass here at Texas, and that's most of these racetracks now with this next-gen car, and you can't get it done, that's just going to allow everyone behind you, that single file, to just creep all up over you, and the next thing you know, it's an up-close and personal situation. And a lot of times that can spark off calamities or big-time crashes, especially on these mile-and-a-half racetracks. Again, want to take a moment to thank all of our sponsors and partners here. Green River Tire, big part of the Moonshiners Racing Series. Cannot do it without them. Hickory Harbor Ramble Welding Fabrication. You can see there on the bottom left-hand corner of the screen, PS or RS, button boxes. They're big-time affiliated and associated with Bad Boy Racing. J. Crawford Builders as well. We can't do it. This league can't do it. And in fact, in racing, you can't do it without all the help and great support, from the sponsors, all the men and women that work so hard, behind the scenes to, put themselves in positions where they're able to step up and help these leagues across the iRacing network. And they're certainly thankful for them, and we appreciate them, and always want to take an opportunity in a moment to shout them out as well over the course of this 200-lap race here tonight. We're talking about John Binder earlier. There he is in that 14th place position, up 14 spots, tied for the biggest mover of the race, and now starting to push the pedal down just a little harder. And look at him ripping the high side of the racetrack. I absolutely love it. That Sundrop Chevrolet starts to attack and go towards the front. And he is right on schedule, almost halfway, not quite, about 19 laps before we hit halfway. And you can see he's moved up to the top, as well as the 54 Randy Mullins as well. Brandon Bikey back there with him as well in the 1. As he's now back in that 15th place position. And I think he's figuring out just how tough it is to work through this traffic once you have that car polluted with all this dirty, disruptive air, you know, about 10th place on back. Warren Young there in the 8 with the Cowboys on board. You know, they always say the Cowboys are America's team. And certainly from one football fan to another, love seeing that vinyl on that race car. But I'm a Buffalo Bills fan, tried and true. Go Bills Mafia. And I'm sure if you're my age, you know, the Bills and the Cowboys, I mean, they took it to us back in the 90s. We're still trying to get back there. We're close. Cowboys having a great year so far as well. Great looking paint scheme on the 8 of Warren Young as he currently runs just outside that 15th place position. That owned by the man just in front of him, Brandon Vikey, in that AKA Hulkamania Viper. I'm gonna have to dial up Brandon Bikey one of these days and let me see if I can borrow that paint scheme. I've absolutely loved that car since the day he debuted in the series, and he's been great ever since he showed up. He is always a factor, always in it to win it. Got a little bit of work to do as he's in that 15th place position, though. But you can see these guys just in front of him. It's a giant roadblock. It's a barricade. He's got nowhere to go. You can clearly see he's got a fast race car, but you got the 33 of Binder, who's pretty much stalled out on the top shelf where Mama hides the cookies as he continuously tries to get around. You know, the 54 Randy Mullins are still side by side, and then just barely ahead of them. Oh, this is 2x2. Binder's going to come up and give a punch to the 93 of Ryan Huff. If that was the time that, you know, the 33 had the run and perhaps got stalled out a little bit because Huff was there on the high side. Still, they remain side by side. They're still going at. Oh, now Bikey's going to get a run here. Let's see if he decides to do there. Probably thought about going 3 wide. We know what happened the last time we did that. Hopefully, he doesn't sun drop the ram ride, if you know what I mean. So they're doing a great job keeping it clean, though, as now it looks like the 54 is going to get a really good entry into that turns 1 and 2 complex. He's going to come up the racetrack and retake that position from the 33. And here comes Bikey. He's going to try and follow right on through. Move Brandon Bikey now back up inside that inside the top 15, currently in that 13th place position. As we go back to the front, got another battle heating up, right picking up where they left off the last time. Here's Shane Davis and Kyle Holden going at it again. Shane on the top, 59 Eaton on the bottom. You can see just how close these guys are door to door right now, side by side, as we go on board to the GoPro cam of Shane P. Davis. Is now the 59 of Kyle Holden able to hold off the charge once again. Let's see what Shane does here, if he's going to go to the high side of the racetrack or if he's going to concede perhaps just a little bit, and does. Is Kyle Holden able to hold him off and retain the lead, but Shane Davis really starting to dial up some pressure here. How about Aaron Matthews in third right now, up 9 spots from where he started. Clearly was able to make some adjustments to that race car last time down pit road because it has really come to life. Kyle Holden, the fastest man on the racetrack that last lap with a 30.31, but Aaron Matthews not far behind with a 30.56 that last time by. Caution out on the racetrack. I believe that's going to be the end of stage 2. So as caution comes out once again, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to step away, pay some bills, but don't go anywhere. We'll be right back with the live action momentarily. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back live here to Texas Motor Speedway. Pit stops have finished. Pit lights are out on the pace car, getting ready to go back. Green flag racing here one more time as we are 95 laps through 200 of the scheduled distance here tonight. Want to thank everyone for joining us here live on SRM. I'm Mr. Excitement up here in the booth. Flying solo here this evening. Having a great time watching some great racing action. Once again here is the Moonshiners Racing League never disappoints. Want to thank our premier partner here this evening, Ram Welding Fabrication. Veteran owned and fueled by Bald Eagles. Coming out of Mount Pleasant, North Carolina. Check them out. Next time you have a project in mind, go to their website. Give them an opportunity to earn your business. Tell them Moonshiners Racing League sent you. As that pace car pulls off, Kyle Holden gonna have the button. Once again, he is gonna send it through the floorboards as Kyle has been on the money on these restarts all night long tonight. Side by side, they're going to war right now for that second place position just behind the leader, Kyle Holden. Got Shane P. Davis, Aaron Matthews there, really starting to challenge now for a podium. Got Kenny Capola there as well in that fifth place position, looking to, oh, did he just eat a piece of the wall? Everything looks clean on that side of the race car. I'm going to say he didn't, but got awful close to it. Is Aaron Matthews really trying to carry some momentum on the high side? And here he comes. Coming in there like a Scud missile on the high side. Going to door John Force edition with Shane P. Davis. As they're still going at it, they don't have it settled. This is going to allow Kenny Capola to come right into the picture, as he is right now on the back bumper of his teammate. Is Aaron Matthews trying to make the pass and does. What a power move by the 5 ride. Aaron Matthews to third, and he continues to impress after he got some track position, because he was stuck about back in there, that 10th place position, just couldn't move anywhere, and now was able to use some pit strategy to his advantage. And that car has really come to life as he's going for the lead. I'm sorry, going for second place. Kyle Holden continues to lead, going for second place, going up against Chris Davis now on the high side once again, and Aaron Matthews takes it back to the bottom. Aaron Matthews now up 10 spots into that second place position. He's got that car dialed in, and he is vibing. Taking a look there now at Barry Sanders, who continues to run just inside the top 10, up 8 positions now from where he started, having a great run here this evening, carrying the Ram Welding Fabrication banners here tonight on his race car. Randy Mullins in 9th, up 12 spots. And then, of course, just inside the top 10 there in 10th, Chad, the man, Sullivan in 21st. Don't forget about Darren Mills in that 12th, 13th place position right now. These guys have a little bit of a tango going on just in back of, just outside the top 10 there is Mills working on the high side. He's got the 8 of Wayne Bowen right behind him. Then you got Gillimore on the bottom. The 78 of Wayne Bowen there as well. We go a little bit on further back through the field. Brandon Bikey still trying to recover. Not quite sure what happened to the performance of that number 1, if he got into some contact that we perhaps missed on the broadcast, but still, even himself and Wortman Jr., who was closer to the front, near the start of this piece, back when we took the initial green flag, the 1 and the 83 certainly had some speed in their cars, but now to seem perhaps have maybe lost a step just a little bit, is they're now outside the top 15, currently in that 17th and 18th position respectively, but still, battles going on throughout the field right now, all over the place. Is now you got Ryan Huff, mixing it up with the 31 there. Ed Boyles Jr. in the 38. He's in this picture as well. And if we go back to the 22nd position, there's John Binder. Up 6 spots in that 22nd position. Jamison Middlemas continues to run in that 23rd position. Jeff Taylor, Jeffy T, in the 23. Nicholas Atwood in the 24 rides in 25th. Derek Jacobs, 26, and Chris Spear currently in that 27th position. Bobby Justice rounds out the rest of the field, who's currently off track right now. Now past the halfway point, working lap 109, getting ready to throw lap 110 on the board here as we're getting ready to come through the Geico restart zone once again. Shane Davis, fast and furiously all over the back of Chris Davis right now, who is currently occupying that 3rd place position. Kenny Capola sits and continues to stalk his prey in that 5th place position. Sullivan now up to 6th in the 21. These guys just continuing to do what they need to do, and that's keep these race cars in one piece. We talked about how aerodynamically sensitive these next-gen race cars are, and that's exactly what these drivers are doing. They're putting on a great show, but they're keeping it clean at the same time so they can have a competitive race car here as we get down to the end of this one. Barry Sanders now in a side-by-side situation there, as well as Justin Belmonte trying to overtake him on the high side. Let's go on board there with Chad Sullivan right now. Oh, is he going to go for the slingshot on the high side? There he gets, how close he gets to Shane Davis. Shane Davis still, as you can see, working the bottom lane there. If you go back to the GoPro cam, this all going on just in front of Kyle Holden. As you can see, Kyle Holden just about 3 car lengths ahead, as these two are in an all-out dogfight right now. And that's allowed Justin Belmonte in the 6th to close in as they continue to throw haymakers at each other as they get up close and personal inside the top 5. These drivers just behind this, like Kenny Capola, Barry Sanders, all loving what's going on just in front of them because they know the longer they take to get this sorted out, the faster they're going to eat into this deficit, and they're going to be right here ready to strike. Sullivan now on the high side. I mean, you can see they are literally door to door going through 3 and 4. As they come across into the Geico restart zone, go across the start-finish line at 21, and Chad Sullivan's going to lead that lap. But, I mean, you're talking... Oh, that's a problem! Is Shane Davis just rocks the 21. Oh, Barry Sanders gets clobbered. Are you kidding me? Caution out on the racetrack. I can't believe what I just witnessed. Let's go back to the SRM instant replay. And I'm going to let this speak for itself. Oh. Carnage everywhere as it turns in. Oh, look at the pile driver administered. There's carnage all over the racetrack. Let's go back and watch this from Ryan Huff's view. Now remember, the fuse got lit on this way up the road. Is Ryan Huff, I believe, is running back in like the 16th or 17th place position. And these cars continue to scatter and go out of control. Oh, he just drilled Sanders. Oh. We got to roll this back. We're just going to turn this into a VHS tape here for a minute and watch the pile driver. Boom! Barry Sanders just gets whopped. I don't know if Ryan Huff didn't see that or whatnot, but he just comes in there and smokes the 88. Heavens to Betsy. You see Shane P. Davis there on pit road. You know, Kyle Holden, Tim Wortman Jr., Chris Davis. Multiple cars on pit road. Justin Belmonte and company. A lot of carnage on that one as they turn that into a 5-alarm dumpster fire. Quick, fast, and in a hurry. Is Warren Young going to inherit the lead in all of this? He's currently being scored. Currently the leader right now. And while we're under caution, once again, we're going to go ahead and pay some bills. Shout out our sponsors and partners here one more time. We'll be back here live for the restart right here on SRM. Don't go anywhere. ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back here to Texas Motor Speedway. That pace car pulls off, getting ready to get back to live action here once again. Is Aaron Matthews going to have the button in the 5 ride? One of the most impressive performances I've seen out of him since his elusive win at Talladega, as he gets a monster restart and takes it to the house over Chris Davis and Shane Davis. And Matthews now leads here with just 80 laps remaining. Tell you what, that 5 car just keeps getting better and better at this as this night goes on. I don't know what they're putting in the water at Bad Boys Racing, but I'll tell you what, the momentum has been shifting here to the 5 camp. And Matthews is mowing them down right now as he easily pulls away from Chris Davis, now almost out to a 0.4 of a second advantage. Where it starts to get hot and heavy once again is right around the 79 ride. As you see now, Randy Mullins starting to dial up the business. Let's go on board with the 54, looking out of the nose cam view here as he tracks the beast mode performance Chevrolet Camaro. As Tony coined that paint scheme, the Miami Vice ride, and we're going to stick with that through the remainder of this piece until he decides to change the vinyl on that race car. Continue going on back through the field. This is that 5th place position just inside the top 5. Justin Belmonte finds himself under duress once again from the 64 of Mullins, who continues to work in the high side of this racetrack at times. You know, this is the point in time of the race, folks. We talked about it, where I really think we're going to see, the extent of this top groove really start to show exactly what it's capable of. Is there in an all-out John Force situation? Is now the 64 is going to have the advantage, but on the other side of that, Belmonte really knows how to rotate the center well on the bottom and carry the momentum, through that odd layout of turns 1 and 2. And just when you think the 64 is clear, nope, the 6 fires right back. Is they're just about side by side at the start-finish line once again. Justin Belmonte, that last time by, turned a 29.98 to Darren Mullins' 29.94. We're going to keep it right here for right now because, this is getting good in your neighborhood. I know a lot of times I always say you got to go Las Vegas mode, high stakes, but hey, we're in Texas mode, high, big things popping, little things stopping here from the Lone Star State, and the action has matched, the hype every step of the way through 127 laps of competition. Now it's a Noah's Ark situation and perhaps a diamond formation, as Dave Regal might say. The last time we seen that, the entire back straightaway got turned into a parts depository, as there was carnage all over the place. Getting back, talking about that caution flag sequence once again, Barry Sanders, unfortunate, has a wadded up race car sitting on pit road right now. You've heard you've heard the slogan, the phrase on ESPN, "You got mossed." Well, he got huffed, and that car is absolutely destroyed. Very unfortunate for Barry Sanders. Ryan Huff off the racetrack too as well. As we continue now to wind down the laps, working lap 130 and 200. Just a very unfortunate situation there for Barry Sanders and others that were involved in that massive amount of mayhem and carnage on that last incident. A lot of Indy snake action going on from time to time inside the top 5, top 10 right now. Look who's right on cue. Working lap 132, John Binder in the 33. I promised you guys at home he would be making it to the front before this thing was all said and done. And there he is, right on schedule in the Sundrop 33, up 21 spots, biggest mover of the race. John Binder, once again, ladies and gentlemen. Ooh, might want to be careful there. He's got one heck of a run, and he's just in front of him there in a side-by-side battle situation. He's going to utilize that momentum, take it up to the high side of the racetrack. Belmonte is kind of going to throw a little bit of a block there, as it's almost 3 wide. Oh, boys, don't do it yet. Oh, look at the slider. How did the 6 fit his car in there? He should have been shot out of there like a hot dog, but not the case. Because we're still almost 3 wide. Belmonte going to come up and give some help to the back of Kyle Holden there, trying to push him on by. But on the same other side of the coin, he's got John Binder on the bottom working with Mullins. Well, it looks like, yeah, Belmonte able to clear now the 64 of Mullins, but that was able to, slow those two enough to really let John Binder get in, to throw his hand into this situation here. Is now you see him working on the bottom of the 64 as well. That's another spot to the good for John Binder. Check another box. He is now just outside the top 5 in that 6th place position. Continuing to work our way further back through the field. This just inside the top 10. Caden Norfry in the 44 in that 9th place position. Shane P. Davis, he has been at the front of this piece virtually all race. This is the furthest back in traffic he's been all race long. As we can see, Wortman Jr. continuing to work on that race car. And the performance is starting to come around to it, as he was fast early in this race, kind of faded through the midsection, and is now starting to charge towards back to the front. Is Wortman knocking on the back door of the top 10 in the 11th place position now. Jamison Middlemiss in the 16. He's having a great run tonight. He's in up 12 spots in 12th place in the 16 ride. Feeling spicy and looking for more now, as he's caught the back of that 83 of Tim Wortman Jr. Can you work our way back through the top 15? 13th belongs to Brandon Bikey, a.k.a. Hulkamania. He's kind of in a similar situation as, Shane Davis, still trying to find the magic the mojo to get him back up towards the front of the field where he once was. And a big part of that, I think, has just got to be this track position. This air just gets so turbulent and dirty, once you get, this far back through the field, and it totally changes the handling dynamics and characteristics of the race car. And you really have to work at it and be up on the wheel, to make those positions back. The best way to do it on pit road or on the restart. Just like what you've seen this man do, Aaron Matthews, who's currently under the assault from Chris Davis now, as there's a change for the lead. Chris Davis now takes the 29 to the point, and Kyle Holden going to follow him through. That's going to slip Matthews back to third. As we go on board with Matthews here, you can see him going down the backstretch here. Keep an eye on the RPMs of that race car. About 8,700 RPMs. That's good for about 190 miles an hour. Getting into turns 3 and 4. As he continues to try and close in on back to the 59, and he is there once again. Is now the 59 trying to do everything he can to get around the 29 of Chris Davis. You can see they are door-to-door, side-by-side. Big shout-out again to the Moonshiners Racing League. You see the Tony SRM logo featured on all of these race cars in the series on display for the remainder of the season. And Tony was such a big part of this league with me. And as far as I'm concerned, it's Tony Trapasso forever with me in the booth. I know he's alongside me tonight. Great battle continues up front. It's now quickly approaching 50 laps to go, as we are now working lap 144 out of 200. And if you saved everything in the stockpile, now is the time. If you've saved your car, if you've babied it, taken care of it, kept all 4 corners on it, now is the time when you want to use what you got here as we get down to the closing moments here. As you can see, there are that top groove really starting to come to life. Multiple drivers going up there, including, the Tide Ride as well. He's there in that situation. We're utilizing the top 24 Atwood as well. Ed Broyles Jr., Jamison Middlemiss, all right there. As this surface continues to widen out the further we go into this 200-lap run. Take it back to the front one more time. Kyle Holden able to get around Aaron Matthews, Chris Davis, as he goes back to the point once again. That TRD machine, he has been hot, especially on the long runs. That Toyota has some great longevity. In fact, let's take a look at the speeds here. Last time by, Kyle Holden ran a 30.24. Chris Davis slightly faster at a 30.14. And Justin Belmonte now, is he's putting Aaron Matthews under pressure here once again. In fact, he's going to get the spot. As Belmonte's looking to... big-time power slide out of Matthews. He's able to corral it, but that might pucker a couple lug nuts or two on that race car with a move like that. What a save by Matthews. I'll tell you what, his heart probably skipped a beat on that one. As this beautiful run almost got crumpled up and thrown out the window. Great job by Matthews getting that race car back underneath him, as John Binder continues to be the king of the hill as far as I'm concerned in the positions gained battle right now on the racetrack. Now up 23, not 12, not 13, 23 spots to the driver of the 33 Sundrop Chevrolet, now inside the top 5, owning that 5th place position. Shane P. Davis continues to try to work his way towards the front. 50 laps to go. Can he return to his former glory at the front of this piece? As he's just outside the top 5 in that 6th place position. Ladies and gentlemen, what do you say we turn it up and go all out here? You got those subwoofers on your computer at home. Crank the bass, let it rock and roll. I mean, after all, it is Texas. You got to listen to the beauty of those race cars screaming by at almost 190 miles an hour here. As Paul Gallimore continues to work in that 13th place position here tonight. He's been up on the wheel all night tonight, earning every single spot out there on the racetrack, as he's even with the board right now. Going back to that 22nd position, Darren Mills got a piece of the action there in the mayhem that broke loose about 40 laps ago. As you can see, he's got what Tony and I used to call pug face. So the front of that front clip on that Chevrolet Camaro is all kicked in. And we've actually seen that be an advantage at times because it allows more air underneath the race car to flow through the diffuser. And that's a big part of how this car generates downforce. As you can see him now under pressure, under siege. And the 43 is Stephen Gibson Jr. This is inside the top 20 for that 20th place position right now for Gibson. Darren Mills in the 21st spot, currently 2 laps down as they run right now. Caution back out on the racetrack. As you see Kyle Holden leading the chain or the train of everybody down pit road here. Pit road becomes the hottest place once again here at Texas, as this potentially could be the money stop. Everybody on pit road right now. Take a look at the 74. Paul Whitley having service done on his race car. Brandon Bikey, Aaron Matthews, Big part of the race off of pit road. Kyle Holden. Did he hold on to the lead there? That's the biggest question. Right now, it's looking like that's the case as he's coming off the access road there. As he hits the pit road exit cone and comes back up onto that racing surface. As Barry Sanders now back in competition after extended repairs to that 88 race car. As I believe Barry Sanders on pit road for well over 15 minutes. In fact, make that 18 minutes and 8 seconds on pit road for Barry Sanders. Is that RS Button Box's Chevrolet looking a heck of a lot better than it did. But unfortunately for the driver of the 88, marred multiple laps down. You just see him peel off back down pit road one more time. Gonna re-rack, restack the deck here one more time. And while they get set, ready to go, we're gonna get set. We're gonna step away to one more commercial break, and we'll be back through the remainder of this race in its entirety right here on SRM. That's right, ladies and gentlemen, loading content indeed. Re-racked, restacked, back under green flag action here once again, live on SRM. Is the Moonshiners Racing League getting ready to close it out here tonight as we're now through 163 laps of competition. Kyle Holden continues to hold off the rest of the field as he shoots out now to almost a 0.3 of a second advantage over Chris Davis, Justin Belmonte, Aaron Matthews, and Shane Davis. Currently rounding out your top five. Oh, look at Brandon Bikey. He's able to get some serious positions on pit road there and sneak back inside the top 10. Let's see if Hulkamania comes back to life with some better air now, working with that race car here in the Lone Star State. Boyke still going after Mullins there for that spot out there on the racetrack. Jeff Taylor in the mix as well, as he's currently in that 8th place position, having a great run tonight. Randy Mullins currently in 7th as Boyke's going to get the spot, as Randy was really contesting him for that 6th place position there just moments ago. But out front, it is all Kyle Holden right now. Is Justin Belmonte making a case for this one late, really getting to the high side of the racetrack. Aaron Matthews, he's got some new rubber on that race car as well, as he's charging back to the front once again. There's a massive battle going on for that 2nd place position right now between Chris Davis and Justin Belmonte. They still don't have it sorted, and this is exactly what drivers like Aaron Matthews, Shane Davis, Brandon Bikey, and others want to see, is they are running a couple tenths slower lap, and that pack has caught them now. That gap has been negated, and Matthews right on top of this battle for 2nd. You can see just how close these drivers are door to door, side by side at times, as Matthews patiently and urgently at the same time, if that makes sense, trying to find a way around and just patiently, waiting to make his move, as the 29 and the 6 are using up all the stuff right now in those Goodyears as they continue to throw haymakers at each other side by side at over 190 miles an hour. This is all-out trench warfare here once again at the front of this piece, is now Shane Pete Davis continues to claw his way in the Miami Vice Special on the bottom, and he's bringing Brandon Bikey right with him in the 1. Last time we see the intensity picked up like this, that's when the big one happened at Texas. Hopefully we don't have a repeat of that. But time is running out, and you can feel the urgency and the octane coming right up with it as these laps continue to wind down. Now 172 in the books, or just about, I should say, out of 200. Let's go on back just a little bit further through the field here, just outside the top 10 in that 9th place position. Wayne Bowen once again having a great run here tonight. as Tim Wortman Jr. continues to rebound in the 83 Ford Mustang. You know, John Binder, again, biggest mover of the race. He has won that war tonight, no questions asked. You know, he's really looking for a long run here. That's when that Camaro really seems to have the most muscle, the biggest flex on the field, if you will. And that's at the longer stint of these runs here. As we continue to watch the 78 of Wayne Bowen dogfight it out. As he's now going to get the advantage and get around the 54 of Randy Mullins. You know, speaking about, you know, you're talking about football earlier. You know, Bill Belichick always says next man up, and there is literally a next competitor up with each and every position that is being traded here on the racetrack. As Binder now continues to put the salt on the 54. Oh, he's going to try to squeeze it down. Oh, right in front of Gallimore. Ooh, I'm not so sure the 11's happy about that one, as now he's going to throw it in there. Oh, did not give him any room at all. I hear you, Paul. I get it. Because he had to get skinny, quick, fast, and in a hurry. There's now the Tide Ride getting in here on this, getting in on the action as well. Out front, though, Kyle Holden continues to have the field in his hands as he continues to carry the torch here, as he's got a 1.23 second advantage over Chris Davis in that 29 ride. Knocking on the back door, it's not delivery, it's Shane P. Davis once again, as he is coming to the front. Last time by, he was one of the fastest cars on the racetrack, clocking in at a 29.80 flat for Shane P. Davis. So he is really kicking in the biscuits right now on that 79, as he's able to slice and dice his way through the 6. And now has his sights set on Chris Davis in that second place position. It's a one heck of a battle right now. You got three cars tightly racked and stacked, you know, all going at each other for that second spot right now. These laps continue to wind down, tick, 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 tick. Now only 20 laps remaining to go in this 200-lap event here from the Texas Motor Speedway in the Lone Star State. Let's take the coverage now back to Brandon Bikey. Currently is back up into that 5th place position. One heck of a recovery drive for the driver of the one. You know, that one car is never out of the race by any means. Ever since he has stepped foot into this series, that Tulkamania Viper has been bad, fast, everywhere he goes. And when it's off a little bit, he always just seems to be able to find a way to make the right adjustments, either to the car or the way that he's driving and attacking the racetrack, to really get the speed back up. And he's absolutely done that once again with that Viper. Ooh, look at this situation here. Aaron Matthews in the thick of it. This is for that 8th place position. Once again, the hot spot just inside. Oh, hello. 3 wide. This can't end good. I hope it does, but thank God it did. Have a little bit of PTSD for, I guess, from what happened earlier. Oh, his binder almost. Wow. He almost got up close and personal with the Tide ride. This in that 12th place position as the laps continue to tick down. Now 17 laps remaining in competition. Binder currently in 12th, and that's up 16 spots. And ladies and gentlemen, as we're at 15 laps to go, what do you say we go through the field here one more time? Kyle Holden clearly holding on to the lead in that first place position. Second, as we go on board with him as we go through the field, that's going to be Justin Belmonte in that second place position. Residing in third in that final podium position, just off the back of the 6th, that is going to be, oh, look at this, a little bit of a battle here. Well, Shane P. Davis now in third. Chris Davis slides back to 4th. Brandon Bikey in the Pit Viper now up to that 5th place position. Just outside the top 10, Wayne Bowen in a 6th place position. Jeff Taylor in the 23 now in 7th. Paul Gillimore now in that 8th place position. Randy Mullins in 9th as he's doing door-to-door battle right now with the 11 of Paul Gallimore. You know what, let's switch the view up just a little bit here, see if we can catch some of this action right there. As you can see, door to door with the 11 here. Ooh, look how close that is. You can see Aaron Matthews there trying to get into this fight as well. So Gallimore having to play offense and defense at the same time. As we now go on board with Gallimore, looking back at the 5 of Matthews. But nonetheless, Gallimore continues to run in that 9th place position. Aaron Matthews going back to the charge once again here. And they now seem to have that settled as John Binder currently behind this piece in 11th place position. Tim Workman Jr. now in that 12th place position. Caden Orfry, he is in the 13th spot. 14th belongs to Ed Broyles Jr. and residing inside the top 15 is the 24 of Nicholas Atwood, up 10 spots as he currently runs right now. Take it back to the front. It is all Kyle Holden. Like Texas, no limit, holding them down. You got to know when to hold them, know when to fold them. And Kyle is holding them right now. And he's got Jokers Wild at the front of this piece as he has a 2.56 second advantage over Justin Belmonte in that 6th place position. Thank everyone for joining us here live on SRM Wednesday night in prime time. You're thinking about coming on board, joining the family? Easiest way to do that, smash the like button or ring the bell. Come home to 7 days of high-flying, high-octane eSIM racing action only right here on SRM, the official home of the Moonshiners Racing League. All these drivers continue to fight and claw and get as much as they can with just 8 laps remaining. It's all Kyle Holden out in front. Closest battle here on the racetrack right now is right here. Between that 4th, 5th, and 6th place position. Shane P. Davis right now currently runs in 5th. Here's Chris Davis now in the 29 in 2nd. As he's trying to take it from the 6th of Justin Belmonte. May have used his stuff up a little too soon. And the 29 could have just have a little bit better tires underneath that race car. As you see the 6 get a little slideways off the top. Bikey trying to capitalize here as well. As now it's a two-way battle for 2nd. Make that a 3-way battle. Gotta love this action up here near the front of this piece. 2 great drivers, one in a Ford, one in a Toyota, and another one is a Toyota that thinks it's a Dodge, and that's being piloted by Brandon Bikey in the 1 as he's trying to give some business to the back of Justin Belmonte in the 6. Shane P. Davis just a couple car lengths back as there's now just 5 laps to go. Handshake lap. Side by side, once again, Brandon Bikey, Belmonte special. These two always know how to throw down a good show. Some great side-by-side racing action without, keyword here, taking each other out in the process. This series does a great job of putting on spectacular performances without putting tons of cars in the fence. But when they do decide to pop off, they go off big time, as we've seen earlier. Fortunately, Barry Sanders was caught up in that, and that could have completely taken him out of the playoffs here tonight, depending on where he winds up on the scoring pylon with just 3 laps to go. I mean, these guys are just all over each other as the 6 now basically bump traps the 1. As he's going to take the momentum to the high side of the racetrack. Does he have enough room to get through there? He does, but the 1 has such a great run coming off the bottom. He's not able to capitalize even with the help from Shane Davis. Final lap in the air one more time around the racetrack for the man with the plan tonight in Texas, Kyle Holden. As he comes now through the turns 3 and 4 complex through the final time here tonight, coming off of Texas 4th. He's got this checkered flag in his sights. Kyle Holden is going to hold him down in Texas and take it to the point. Winner tonight, Kyle Holden. In 2nd place tonight, Chris Davis comes home in that 2nd place position. Brandon Bikey in 3rd. Justin Belmonte in 4th. Rounding out your top 5, Shane P. Davis, as all the rest of the drivers now come across the start-finish line. And what a thrilling, dominating performance from the 59 camp as Kyle Holden really took control of this race at about the halfway point. And once he did, he never looked back as he's getting ready to burn the house down. Man, he better do a good burnout. He knows how to burn the tires down. Right at the start-finish line, He's going to give Barney the official a good show here as well. Smoke him if you got him. Kyle Holden, your winner here in Texas. You know, Kyle has to be absolutely ecstatic right now. You see him burning some donuts here. Just waiting for the drivers to, top three finishers here to come up into the interview waiting room. We may have to go down there and get them, though. See if we can go track him down for you here. And guys, if you're listening to the broadcast, if you could jump up into the interview waiting room on the top three. See if we can find Kyle Holden here. Kyle Holden, Matt Metler up in the booth. Congratulations, my man. Big time statement win from you in the 59 ride. How were you able to put together such a clutch performance here tonight? Yes, I'm not seeing Kyle Holden here. All right, we'll just join him up there. Thank you so much, brother. I appreciate you. All right, Kyle, I found you, man. I guess you got transported up into the interview waiting area. You were there 1 second, you were gone, but, pick up where we left off. Well said, and that's some great analysis. How big tonight was track position? It seemed like if you got mired back in traffic at times, no matter how good your car was with all that dirty air, it made it difficult to pass. But once, you were able to, let's say, get inside the top five, top six, if you had a good handling race car such as yours, you were really able to then drive it back up to the point. Well, I'll tell you what, man. If you've been running, the past month without the proper wheel settings, as good as you were then, the rest of the field better pay attention to what's going on in the 59 camp, because I haven't seen a performance like that at Texas in quite some time. Ladies and gentlemen, he's your winner, Kyle Holden. But before we cut him loose, who do you want to thank? Who helps you get it done on the 59? There you go. Keep that momentum on rolling. Ladies and gentlemen, once again tonight, your winner from Texas, Kyle Holden. Go burn it down some more, man. Thanks for joining me up here in the booth, and congratulations once again. Now let's talk to our second place finisher here tonight, Chris Davis. Matt in the booth, you got me, bud. Chris, that 29 car seemed to be on rails that time tonight, and it really seemed to wake up that last stint. Did you make any adjustments to that car, or was it all just about understanding, where that car really wanted to perform its best out there on the racetrack and utilizing those fresh tires to your advantage?
Yeah, I was tired first day. Boosted the car up. I knew that once I came off, the car was going to lose some tires. Made a wedge adjustment there, get a little bit looser, and it just comes alive. Second stage, I started picking them up, and then third stage, I had to run a little bit hard. Kind of making a lot of turn out there at the end. Got car kind of stuck, but otherwise, it's super fun. It's been fun driving. Trying to thank Brandon Bikey for helping me. He made me drive a 15-minute tutorial at the beginning of practice. And I ran this week, so it was really cool. All thanks to him and Zane. They went to that second place win.
Hey, that's what teammates are for, right? Especially when you surround yourself with such high caliber drivers, like you mentioned, Brandon Bikey, Shane Davis. I mean, you can really utilize those assets, and sometimes it shows out in your performance here tonight, and that certainly seems to be part of the case.
Yeah, it is. Like the last month here, I've really been picking up those passes close to 10 laps, really slowing all the way down, trying to cruise smooth. It was super nice, really to help everybody. Fortunately for me, they had a lot to get the second spot.
Well, hopefully they got more tricks in the bag, and I'm sure they do, because that 29 really came to life after stage one. Comes up just a little bit short, ladies and gentlemen, but before we cut Chris loose, going to let him have the floor one more time. Who do you want to thank who helps you get it done?
Kenny,
Yeah, well said. Chris Davis again comes home second place here this evening. Have a great rest of the night. Thanks for joining us here in the booth. I'm going to go talk to Brandon Bikey, your third place finisher. Appreciate your time, Chris. Thank you. Brandon Bikey, that was one heck of a comeback performance here tonight, my man. Your car seemed like it was quick early. It fell off a little bit, but you didn't give up on it. And you hit that Hulkamania switch inside there, and you brought it up to the front. That was fun to watch.
Yeah, brother. It didn't fall off at all. I actually had my Oculus disconnected. So the only way for me to bring it back on and get it back in my headset was to leave the race and come back. So I had to do that, and luckily I barely avoided losing a lap by the time I got back in and got back on in the second stint there in the second stage. So I just was playing catch up the rest of the race and got close, but needed a little bit more time or needed a caution or something there to shake it up and get me even with Kyle.
Well, you bring up a great point there, just about battling back through the field. I'm going to ask you the same question, I asked Kyle earlier. Just how difficult was it once you got mired back in traffic to get your car to a point where you had the confidence in it to go out there and execute the passes? Or was it just like you said, more of a waiting game and being patient, or a combination of both?
I mean, this track is so line dependent and aero dependent, so you really need to take care of your stuff. So there was a bunch of drivers out there that just were going balls to the walls and burning their stuff up. So I knew that if I could get 25, 30 laps, I'd be chewing everybody up, and that's what happened. I mean, that's how I got through the pack so easily, and it really wasn't that difficult, but it sucks to be back behind somebody, because if you get right behind somebody, you just lose all the aero on your front, you're tight, and it burns that right front tire, and you just got to get by them. You can't have that aero push. So
Yeah,
it was interesting.
It was certainly interesting, and like I said, like from the broadcast, but it just seemed like when you decided, hey, it was time to go, you hit that switch, and you were coming towards the front. And it's been a lot of fun to watch you since you joined the series here. It seems like we talked to you an awful lot up here in the booth, so keep it going, man. Best of luck to you the rest of the way throughout the course of the playoffs. Who do you want to thank who helps you get it done on the one?
Yeah, brother, a lot of people, man. Definitely Kenny Coppola. He's the one that's the genius behind the setups. I'm sure the other two guys have already said that because we're all Team Watson Racing setups, and he's a genius. So if anyone's ever looking for setups, man, that's the guy to go to. And then all my teammates with Beast Mode Performance. There's too many to even count, but Kenny, Wayne, Shane, Chris, Schmeets, Nick Atwood. I mean, I'm probably forgetting somebody, but everybody over there, man, we're a great team. We love working together, and we have a lot of fun doing it. So definitely want to thank them. And then my wife, Lindsay, she watches, or she supports me. She watches from behind me while I'm racing. And then my dad, he watches a lot of these broadcasts back. So I want to shout out to him. And, I really want to shout out to you for doing a great broadcast. And obviously, I dedicate the rest of the season to Tony. I mean, he was such an amazing broadcaster. Hate that he had such an untimely passing, and this is for him. So,
Hey, on behalf of all of us from SRM, we certainly appreciate what you just said there and everything the league has done. The support from you guys and other leagues has been tremendous. And don't get me wrong, it's been difficult up here at times, but I always keep telling myself he's here with me. And I couldn't agree with what you said more. But there he is, ladies and gentlemen. Once again, Brandon Bikey knows how to put the Hulk flex on the field when the time is on the line, comes home third. We appreciate your time, brother. Best of luck throughout the rest of their way through the playoffs.
thank you so much. And one last shout out to Barry Sanders. He puts the league together. He does a great job. Not the football player, but the driver and the man that is behind all this. So thank you to him.
Appreciate you, Brandon. Thank you, man. Well, that'll do it for the interviews, ladies and gentlemen, here tonight as we wind through 200 laps at Texas. We said at the start of this, it was going to be high octane. It was going to be no limit. It was going to have the drama, and we certainly had all of it, as the Moonshine always knows how to impress in prime time. Let's get down to the final results here. Kind of want to start off with that first place position. There we go. Your race winner here tonight had a stranglehold on the field. Kyle Holden comes home first. Chris Davis comes home second. Brandon Bikey, with some late race pace, is able to claw his way back to third. Justin Belmonte comes home fourth. Shane P. Davis in fifth. Wayne Bowen sixth. Jeff Taylor seventh. Randy Mullins is able to rumble to an 8th place finish. Aaron Matthews, who was electric at times for this one as well, 9th. And John Binder comes home 10th. Paul Gallimore, Tim Wortman Jr., Caton Norfry, Paul Whitley, Chris Spear round out the top 15. Nicholas Atwood, Ed Broyles, Darren Mills, there's the 18th place respectively. And let's get the rest of the finishers here as well. 19th, Derek Jacobs. 20th, Stephen Gibson Jr. 21st, Jamison Middlemiss. Darren Mullins comes home 22nd. The HMFIC, Barry Sanders, resides in third. Kenny Capola 24th after a strong run here early tonight. Bad Chad Sullivan comes home 26th. Ryan Huff 27th. And rounding out the 28 drivers that took the green flag here tonight, Bobby Justice in 28th. Well, ladies and gentlemen, like all good things, it must come to an end, including this broadcast. As my friend and partner Tony Profassa would say, ladies and gentlemen, as you walk down the road of life, do us all a favor. Do not play in traffic. Good night, everybody.